let it go. Your whole life is in the threshold.
What's going on? It's your boy Mike Mull. This is the Mullet Over podcast. Today. Look, I'm excited. I get to introduce somebody awesome. Now, I'm not gonna lie and say that I know all the history of this woman, but I can tell you just a few things. She's an author, educator, minister, principal, all around a diva. Listen, she is a woman of God. You hear me? Not only that, look, she's just awesome. I said, how you want to be introduced? She said, I'm just Anish. So I'm going to say, welcome to the show, Anish Grimes.
Thank you.
Yeah. So how we doing today? So look, how you feel? How you feel on the show? Yeah.
I'm excited. This is totally new for me, so super excited and ready to just have these conversations.
Okay. So
Ask away.
when we come on the show, all the guests, I like for them to expound a little bit about them, because they know me. If they listen, you'll hear everything about my life at one point. My wife actually wants me to go a lot deeper into stuff, but bear with me. It's coming, y'all. She want me to write this book. Y'all done heard me talk about the book. I ain't wrote it, but speaking of books, we got an author in the house. Did I say that already? A whole author. Come on now. And you know we love our authors. Come on. But you an author, educator.
Yes.
Man, you it. Tell us a little bit about you.
So, my name is Anish Grimes. I have been in education for 24 years as a intervention specialist, or what people used to know as a special ed teacher. I have been teaching. I taught in Kansas City schools for a few years, and actually got cut. And then Akron Public hired me in right away, and I started teaching here in Akron. I've been here for 21 years of the 24.
That's 21 years and 4 months. Ooh. You better say it.
So it's been, so that's me. I've been in education. I'm now an academy principal at Bookdale Middle School 6 to 8 here in Akron with Akron Public Schools. First year out the bat has been very interesting, as well as more about me. I'm a mom of 8.
You're a mom of 8.
I am of
Okay.
8. I have 8 bonus children. They're not mine naturally, but I have 8 grown adults, thank God. But I don't always feel that way. I don't always feel that way, but they're awesome, as well as many. I couldn't even count how many grandkids we have. We have a lot, like at least 10.
Oh, really?
It's a lot of them.
Come on.
It's a lot. What else? I minister. I go to City of Joy Life Enrichment Center. Shout out to my Bishop Maceo Smith II and Pastor Patrice. Love them dearly. My husband, been married for 14. It'll be 15 years.
Congratulations.
And thank you. In August. So super. I know, right? I can't believe it's in 15. Like,
we got 6 in. So
that's what's up.
I don't know. God, how y'all do 50? Y'all go ahead.
Listen, I don't know.
Her, but, ooh,
I know.
They can work a nerve.
Can't y'all?
Can't they work a nerve,
Can't
y'all?
they?
Listen.
Can't they?
Woo. But we gonna pray on them.
Yes, we are.
Not on them. We're gonna pray for them.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother show. We're gonna talk about that later.
Right.
But so you're an author now.
Yes.
How was that journey? Let's talk about that.
Oh my gosh. So truly, I was following some Facebook pages, and the offer went out, hey, who wants to write a book? And I'm like, oh, I would love to write a book. Never written one. And so I had the opportunity to work with 7 other authors, and we did anthology is what they call the technical word. But we co-authored a book, and it's called To Teach or Not to Teach Beyond the Classroom, Volume 3. And we are able to go and we are able to just answer questions from our perspective on how we leverage the skills that we had in the classroom if we left the classroom, like myself, and how do we do that, and looking at the different areas in which, not only in education, if you have a degree, what you can do beyond that, and that you're not just stuck in the classroom.
So what is, you know, we like to pick up little jewels and gems.
Okay.
So what is a jewel that you would say, what is something that in this book, that is something when you're reading, you should really look for and pay attention to on how you may be conveying a message to the youth or the reader?
Not limiting yourself. I think the biggest thing was I didn't put myself in a box to think that I was just only going to be in the classroom for, most people think they're going to be in the classroom forever. I'm going to start and I'm going to retire. And so it got to the point in my life that I was like, I can't stay in the classroom anymore. So being able to just allow yourself to think beyond the box and beyond what you can do outside of your educational degree.
So with you being, especially in today's classroom, it's not the normal. Like me, don't get me wrong, I was a terror. And I tell my kids all the time, you cannot even come close to some of the stuff I did in the classroom. Ooh. I was terrible. Mm-hmm. But then I see a lot of kids who have surpassed me 4 or 5 times over. Mm-hmm. So in dealing with that, from talking back to the teacher, to being able to cuss, to being able to have cell phones, what is like one of the bigger issues that youth are facing in the classroom?
Being able to get their voice, but understanding the respect that they have to give to someone who is older. A lot of times they, well, respect has got to be, was it earned, not given? Or given, earned, I forget the saying. And it's like you have to still, as young people, being able to understand where their place is. A lot of times we did not, or when we were growing up, you just knew, nope, I went to school to learn. This is what it was. It was no talking back. And if you did, you respected the authority who told you what you needed to do, and you just followed along. Now they're like, nope, I'm not going to respect them because they don't respect me. They talk to me any old kind of way. And so that is very hard for me to hear all the time. Right. And I'll be wanting to yoke them up. And I'm like, ooh, that's your job. So I have to... I have to, like, you know, love them and encourage them in the places that they are and meet them there. And that's what they need as young people growing up, because so much has changed because of phones and technology. So.
Yeah, because my son was telling me that they have, what's it called, like jammer bags?
Yonder bags.
He said, yeah, Dad, you know, they got these yonder bags. They just break them open and get their phones back out.
Yeah.
So what is if everybody know how to break this bag open and get their phone back out, what's the point of it? What is the purpose of this?
It has really lessened the amount of fights that, at least that I can see, because everyone's not at their phone out ready at any given moment to record an issue. It's limited, and then also it allows our students to take more responsibility for their education. They're not focused on their cell phones, and they actually can learn in class.
Okay, now was that something that, like, while writing your book, is that something you put into the ideal behind the book? Like, how is it? Even because the yonder bag, that was something just crazy. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, that's out of, that came out of nowhere. You talk about beyond the box. That's like, okay. Right. And then knowing like what you know now, so it shows that there is an initiative to try to still reach the kids without, you know, taking away everything. Because in my opinion, I don't see why they need phones at all, to be honest with you.
Agreed.
So it's like, when writing a book, the book is talking about how you can pretty much, like you said, go beyond the 4 walls.
Yes.
What are can you give me like a situation where you kind of fell back on the book and said, well, let me go outside the 4 walls and use some, because like I said, you're a minister and everything, so, and you in the school, it's a lot of, we know what I want. It's a lot of things that's being there from
spiritual.
Yes, it's a lot of warfare. That's what I'm gonna say. So being that you have knowledge, you're educated, you're wise, you're studied. Like, what is something that really like you was like, you know what, this would be a perfect time to try this technique or this thing?
So if
Well,
ever you come to,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, I didn't want to. I was going to say without giving too much.
So
information.
the book itself is on the educator side. I need to go ahead and start preparing one from the student's perspective, because that will help us to see where they're coming from. But within my office, within where I'm at work, I do incorporate a lot of scriptures without saying it's a scripture, and using that to motivate and encourage. I set my atmosphere, as we say, in my office, because that's a place that I have to be in all the time. So I have my speaker playing my gospel music.
Yeah.
They come in, it is what it is, and just really trying to encourage the environment to be a little bit more easier. Because when you have to discipline or give a consequence to a student, I try to still love on them and let them know I love you, I know this hurts, I know this is not what you want to hear, and then encouraging them in the process, like, I want to see you do better, and you can do this by doing this. Or a better way you could speak with an adult would be, hey, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, can I talk to you? And you're not doing it in front of your peers. You talk to them one-on-one, and you facilitate a relationship.
So I'm going to ask,
Yeah.
okay, this conversation about the language, where does it start?
You mean from the student's perspective? Like, when does it start in regards to, like,
Where
how
does
they...
the conversation where because you're trying to fix a problem as far as communication between two individuals, adult and youth, and most would believe that it starts at home, right?
Yes.
That's what we were always taught, that's what we grew up to believe.
Yeah.
What is your belief?
I believe it starts at home. It does, because when you're raising up a child in the way they should go, when they're old, they won't depart. But it's important to instill with them, okay, like, you have the ability to come in and have a conversation with someone, but you have to, again, keep those boundaries. And so when I have to deal with a student, and say it's a student against a staff, and I'm like, okay, how did you tell me your story? I want their side. I always say there's two sides to a story. And so I hear what they have to say, and I'll say, okay, well, how do you think you could have done that differently? Or how could you approach the teacher differently? But also, as a principal, I keep my teachers accountable as well. They have to be accountable because, and it's without putting too much out there, they still have to know that you just can't come at a student before you develop a relationship. Again, it's all about relationships. It's all about how you talk to students and how you come at them. I may have a different relationship than other people of a different persuasion, and I can come at them a little bit differently but then I've showed them that love. I've showed them that I support them and I want to hear their voice, but I also let my teachers know, hey, you got to step back a little bit. And remember, as you said, times have changed. Things have changed in society, and we have to adjust accordingly and try to reach them so that they're not saying, I forget it, I don't want to come to school, I want to drop out. Because we don't want that, because then they're not educated, and then guess what? It's the ripple effect where they're not learning, and then it becomes a bad cycle.
Yeah, we definitely don't want that. Only because it's just violence rate, crime rate, everything is going through the roof. And with I'll say it the way that I was thinking of it when I was a kid. I've had a lot of good teachers. And this is the Mull Over bucket. I'm not bashing any teachers when I say what I'm about to say. But all teachers, just like cops, there's a lot of good cops.
Yes.
All cops aren't good cops.
And all teachers
And
are
all teachers
not.
are not good teachers.
Oh my goodness.
Especially dealing with African American males. A lot of times, African American males' aggression, or what you would perceive to be aggression, can also be his fear. And I know in my situation, which I wish that I had teachers who did, come at it with a better strategy. I felt like I might have been bored with school, to be honest, because when I did my IQ test, when I got the papers, my sister can tell you, I was like through the roof. Like, I was a pretty I was a pretty smart guy.
You were bored.
But I was bored, so I was like,
You're in trouble.
I never forget I had gotten into it with a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
because she said, we were in, I remember it was 9th grade, Algebra 1. And she said, first she kicked me out of her class. So she sent me to a guy's class, and I said, y'all keep putting me in these classes. I said, I don't need this math. And they said, oh yes you do, because it's part of curriculum. I said, well, isn't the point of this class to get me ready for life?
Mm-hmm.
And she says, well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, how is this going to help me tell my son how to get to school if I have no plans on being, I said, I don't plan on going into geography or geometry or engineering. I said, I can want to be something very simple. This doesn't help me. I would prefer that you put me in a class where I would use modern, everyday math. And I got kicked out for 3 days. I got suspended.
Seriously?
Seriously. I got suspended for 3 days because the teacher didn't like my tone. They didn't like my comment. And then they did put me in a different math class. But then it was easy. And I was like, I wasn't looking to get out of doing the work because it was harder. I'm like, I'm one of the people, if I can't apply it to logic, it's going to be hard for me to want to do it.
Correct.
So, and I feel like a lot of times with teachers not understanding that, I'm a big guy, 6'1". At that time I was 247 pounds.
They were already
So they were terrified because I was standing up and,
Mm-hmm.
you need to sit down right now. I'm fixing my pants or whatever. So, like you were saying, to have a relationship with the children, and you could tell even back then, you could tell what students had a rapport with the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I was not that student. But the ones who I did get a rapport with, Mike, he's the nicest guy, he'll do whatever. It was a big thing. Even the principal, I had to get a rapport with him. His name was Mr. Bradford. And he understood, he was like, hey, Mike,
Right.
that you can't do that, man. They scared you. And this was a white guy. But he understood. And then I understood I was big, so I knew not to push my size and stuff. But on the same time, I'm like, I didn't tell you to be scared of me. You're just scared of me. Like, I didn't do anything aggressive to you, but you take that if I sit up or if I posture a certain way, you think I'm trying to attack you.
Right.
So I know with some of the stuff that's going on in schools and stuff today, that is being seen a lot more and more. And of course, with phones, everything is a world star moment.
Yes.
So how do you combat that type of energy, not just out of the student, but because I don't think I was doing that wrong at the time, but out of the teacher, you know what? Don't answer that question. I just thought about the question. I do not want you to answer that question. That is not a good question.
Okay.
Let me move on.
Okay.
Because, yes. Let's talk about this book a little bit more, because I was very intrigued with the book. I said, if I hadn't been so caught up doing 1,000 different things, I would have said, hey, I wanted to try to get the book, I wanted to try to read, I want to try this and that. I got 3 other businesses I'm running. I didn't have the time, but I am going to buy the book. And not only am I going to buy the book, I'm going to buy the book for somebody out there so that whoever, hashtag Anish Grimes or send it to me at MullitOverPodcast@gmail.com. Let's get you a book, because I want everyone to understand what you're trying to push. Because I just mentioned, I can tell you put some heart and soul into some things. I can tell. It's only one other woman that be putting their heart and soul in stuff, but they hurt my nerves. Right now she's working behind the cameras, but that's my boo thing.
Okay.
But when I can tell, I must be the blonde hair. That's what it got to be, because y'all putting it into it, and I'm just like, oh man, I love it because I love the energy. I can tell when people have you care about what you're doing.
I do.
And
do.
That's awesome.
I do.
So, so when you were writing this book, what was one of the biggest struggles you had, and how did you get over it?
My biggest struggle was probably just being honest and not being afraid that what I write in this book is going to cause me to get in trouble. Because in education, teachers, educators were held to such a standard, and then you can't be human. You can't just say what you want to say or speak about it, and then, so that was my biggest fear, was just being able to be open, and then honestly reading the truth that I had to tell myself all the time as I walked through my process, because there's a point within the book that we can share how we got to where we are, and to be able to look back from, because I knew in 6th grade I wanted to be a teacher. It's rare, literally 6th grade. So I already knew, and as I kind of structured my life, I think the biggest thing was for me just to be open and honest and share my story, and still be able to write it in a way in which the reader could feel me as I was writing it. So you're going to be able to feel all of me. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. It's rare.
6th grade, man.
Uh-huh.
Whoa.
There's a story behind that. It's in the book.
Oh yes, we see.
It's a story behind that part.
Now we got to listen, y'all. We gotta
You
get
do.
this book. We have to get it. I told you, I'm buying some copies for y'all. We will get this book. We gonna do this.
Thank you.
We have to, cause I want to know. You know, I don't like to give away too much. You know, we gotta keep y'all enticed.
Yes.
She got some stories that she got in this book.
Along with the other
And
authors.
other authors, because I do see it's volume 3.
Yes, it's volume 3. So there were 2 other volumes that I wasn't a part of, but the authors that are in, they are from like the Carolinas. One is originally from Barbados. She actually did a show, she just was on this TV show earlier today, like
Really?
via, virtual.
Yeah.
But yeah, she actually had a portion of it, Chanel, and then the other ones, there are, like I said, 7 other authors who are all in education, and some have gone outside of education almost totally.
Oh really?
But then she's able to leverage her skills. She's still a little bit dabbling in education and helping and supporting our young folks. But yeah, there's some story. I'm excited because I can't wait to read what they got to say. Because here in our interviews, we all did interviews with our the main person. Her name is Stephanie Sanders, and she really just. It was awesome that she was able to just pull those things out of all of us, and the flow of all of the authors within our book is amazing. Like, you would never think complete strangers would have we would connect. So like our WhatsApp chat be going morning to night, yeah.
Well, that's good, because I mean, you guys are the forefront of the future, not just the kids. You're the forefront of the future. Like, you guys literally hold. A lot of lives can be made or broken within the hands of a good teacher and educator.
I agree. Along with that question, you was going to have me answer.
Yeah, you see how I pulled that one back?
Yeah.
Now you see why I pulled it back.
Oh, for sure.
See that? It's a method to the madness.
We'll talk about that off camera.
Exactly. It's a method to the madness.
Yeah.
And I said, But, okay. So, you said you have 8 kids. But technically, I'm sure you have a lot more.
Oh my gosh, thousands.
Yes, and what is one of the, I was a coach, so I'm gonna answer after you, but I want to see if we're on the same page. What is like the greatest reward a kid can give you?
Being able to apply what I taught them into real world. So my biggest thing, like, I had students who were in the behavior unit.
She needed to be my teacher. You hear
that? So like I had 17 students in my one unit where it was for all the bad kids were, and my little 4'11" self, and my boys, some of them, I had 17 students, 14 were all boys, 3 girls. And me and my assistant, we ran our classroom. Like, I didn't send my students out for discipline, I handled it in my room. And to this very day, I see them and I love on them, but I always told them, being men or young men of color, I was in the basement, so I'd be like, they're up there, they're your enemy, not me. And I want to teach you how to be successful when you leave me. You're in high school now, and so I began to instill in them different things that they need to know to be able to take care of themselves. So then when I see them now, they're like, Miss Grimes, it was Hatchet back then. Miss Hatchet, I'm staying out the way. And of course, they was very protective. You need to beat up somebody? I'm like, no, I'm good. But I love y'all. But it was always good to be able to put that in them, and then for them to come back and say, look what you taught me. Even if it was like check writing, even though check writing is like almost doesn't exist. But handling a debit card and how to manage your money, so that you're not getting overdraft fees and gotta close the bank account. And so I had students come back and like, look, and I'm like, yes, I'm proud of you, you did it. Then I had other ones, I'm like, dude, I told you, don't do that.
Don't
you
do
know?
that.
So just being able to know that as I have shared and poured into them, that they're able to take what they've learned and bring it back to me and say, this is what I did and this is what I learned and thank you. Even if it was just learning to deal with people, you know, because they weren't in their corner or they didn't push them. They wanted them to fail, but they knew, like, no, you're going to be successful. You're going to graduate. And seeing them graduate was like, it'll bring me to tears because it was like, yes.
Let me tell you, when I took, so my wife sent me a thing. She said, you know, this would be a good person to interview for your podcast. And I said, you know, I'm up for having somebody on the show. And I said, let me reach out. So I reached out and we linked up and did all this. What I didn't know is that she was going to come on the show and read my life back to me. So here's what happened. 8th grade, I was actually taken out of regular school. I was arrested and put into a class called SPEC. I can't remember what it stands for. But in this class, I'm pretty sure that I came to the understanding that this was the class for the kids who were expected to be in jail or dead by the time they were 18. And I found that out because we didn't have real punishment. Like, I could walk up and punch a kid square in the jaw.
You sure could.
And they'd say,
oh, it's okay.
Okay, Michael, you need to go home for this and me home. And I got out of school. I went to school from 8 in the morning. I went from 8 in the morning to noon. And then a lot of times you would go to work afterwards or whatever. So the teachers I had one male and 2 female teachers. This is like the start of this program. And I actually seen my male teacher not too long ago. And in this class, and like I said, I was pretty smart. A lot of the kids in there were really smart kids. You couldn't tap into how to get us to learn. Let's put it that way. I mean, we would learn it, but we would just find different ways to use it, you know, and we didn't use it in a proper educational pretext. So what would happen in this class, long story short, I was in this class, and it was one morning I was writing out the Pledge of Allegiance because that was a part of my punishment. So I had to write the whole thing. And then I had to write the Fifth Amendment in its entirety. Oh, and it was torturous. But in doing that, I said, dude, I'll never forget, I'm in there freaking out. And I'm like, why am I in this class? Now, why is any of us in here? They think we gonna be dead. And I was like, and the teacher was always telling us, you know, you better. But then what happened is, they implemented a point system where if you got so many points on Fridays, you got to go play basketball, or you got to go do this. And at the time, I had a family member that was in jail, and he said, "Oh, well, not in jail. He had gotten out of jail." He said, "Man, y'all in the joint." I said, "What you mean?" He said, "The same way it is in the joint. You know, on Fridays you get to watch the movies and stuff like that." So I said, what I didn't realize is this was institutionalizing me. And I thought that this was an okay thing until that moment when I said, this ain't it. So I started doing all my work and all that. I became like a stellar student, got 4.0. Well, I should have. Work was easy. But what it showed me is like, I have to be different or I'm going to live up to everything they said I should. Now, I can't speak to everyone that was in that class, but a lot of them may have fallen by the wayside and went to jail or prison, and some of them may or may not be living anymore. I can say that.
Right.
But I said that class actually is what saved my life, because I had to have the wisdom to know I can do better than this. And it's a hard concept, and it was a hard pill to swallow because it was so easy. It was so easy. It was like, how did I not see this? And it's like, dude, you're 14 years old. What do you mean? Like, the average 14, oh, this is easy, I'm doing. And instead of me doing it, oh yeah, I'm like, this is too easy. This is not it. Everybody else enjoying it. They kick it. We got free bus passes, you got to leave. You still got to play sports for the school. You got to come up to any sporting event because you still went to the school. You just got out early.
Right.
And I felt like none of the teachers really understood what was going on. One day I got so mad and I was so fed up with just the lack of education and everything that I was getting at the time. And they were doing their best because everybody wasn't on the same level, you know,
Right.
like
Mhm.
anything else, there was levels to it. But I was so fed up with the level that I was on. I ended up punching the locker, and the guy, the male teacher, will tell you, I dented the lockers. And what made me not keep going is he cracked a joke, and he said, "Hey, he said, man, you really dented that." He said, "I bet that hurt, didn't it?"
Right. Yeah, you're
I started
right.
laughing. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that did hurt pretty good. So I broke my concentration, and I got what he did. He made me break concentration to think about it. And then we had a conversation, and his name is actually Coach West. He was like, man, don't act how people you think these people want you to see.
Right.
See you act.
Right.
He said, you want to do different? Show them that you're different.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you can't let people confine you to stuff. You got to always be better.
Yep.
And I said, whatever. But in the back of my mind, I said, he right.
Mm-hmm.
So with all that and the turmoil and things I had going on at home, it brought me to the forefront that I didn't know that in 7th grade I would be sitting in front of an educator who would read me my life back when I just turned 40 years old and tell me everything that I was thinking. And now she's laying it out on the table, just read my whole rights to me,
Oh my gosh.
my whole life to me. On the Mull Over podcast, and that's like, dude. Look. Now I will say this: this is a look at God moment. That's what my wife would say. Well, look at God, preach on it. But no, this is a look at God moment. God is awesome. He has done amazing things, and this is one of them. I did not know that aspect of what you were about to bring to the table. That
I
kind
know,
of
right?
opened my whole world up. That is awesome. You rock.
But for the grace of God.
You rock. But I also know you're human, and sometimes
Oh my gosh, yes.
the kids can really work your nerves.
Oh my last.
So, like, what do you do when a kid has really, like, took you there, and you like, it ain't worth my job, but I got to go do something. Do you go, like, what do you do? What's your out? How do you vent?
In the midst of the moment or later?
In the moment, you probably have a couple of
In the
hallelujah,
moment,
thank you,
I'm
Jesus,
breathing.
come on.
I am like, okay, Anish, get yourself together, because I try to make sure that I don't let them see my full,
Mm-hmm.
that I'm really upset and angry with them about whatever they may have done. I mean, I talk to them as calmly as I can, because I know they know I'm upset because of whatever they've done, and I reassure them, like, listen, yes, I'm disappointed, yes, I'm mad at you because you did this, and now I have no choice but to give this consequence, but know
Yeah.
that I love you. I always have to do that, but when I'm done with them, I might just like put my head on my desk, or there's been times I'm like emotionally, I'll cry, I'll get upset, but I have to keep my composure while I'm at work. Now when I'm at home, I'll be like, da-da-da-da-da-da, and I'm getting it
Yeah,
out.
let it out,
Like,
yeah.
or I'll
Can't
call
take
my
it with
husband
you.
like, oh my gosh, I need to talk because I'm upset right now, because, and it's usually not a student, it's a teacher.
I know, I was going to say it.
It's not usually a student. It's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Because I still have to, you know, even though I shifted, my classroom is now teachers.
Mhm.
And so some of the things that they do or say amazes me. Like, did you just do that? Did you just say that? And so that's where I have to, like, okay, Anish, and I almost have to have a poker face.
Mhm.
I've never had a poker face in my life. This job has caused me to have straight poker face. Like, I am the one that I wear everything on my face, and whatever it is. And so just being able to allow the students to give me their input, give me their story, give me their side, and then when I have to call a parent, that's the hard part, because I have to tell the parent what happened, and I listen and I hear them out, and I explain whatever happened, and it hurts sometimes, because the reality of this is what happened. We're in middle school, we have middle schoolers, and they're learning, and you still just try to instill in them that.
How do you deal with it when you make a phone call like that and the parent doesn't care?
I try to give them another resource. So if I know of a mentoring, if I know of another thing that we have within the school, I try to say, here, have you tried this? Or let me connect you with this person if it's something that can be kind of resolved. I try to encourage the parent, like, I know you're doing a good job. I know this is a hard time for so-and-so. Don't give up. Keep doing it. Like, it's just going to take time, and hopefully the maturity will set in. Hopefully they'll see it in the end that it's for their good. So.
Man, that was a lot. Okay. Let's ask a couple more and then we're going to wrap it up.
Okay.
But look, first question will be, how do you deal with, because we noticed we've been talking about teaching this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I could go into the educator, minister, and woman of God and all that, but teaching is striking a chord.
Okay.
How do you deal with this new dress code situation? Because I say that, look, I got daughters, and I'm a grown man, and there are times when you go to a school, like I'm a referee as well. I can't tell who the teacher is sometimes and who the student is. That's the first problem. And then sometimes you see the girl, you're like, what? Where's your clothes at? But it used to be they would get ISS, which then they started using ISS as a way to just pretty much go to school and not be in school. So how do you guys handle that?
Delicately. In the middle school, I see a lot. I will have the student, I had a couple of girls come in with really, really short skirts today, and I'm like, nope, not acceptable. Go to the office, call your parent. But the unfortunate part, parents don't answer their phones. So then you're like, okay, I had people have donated leggings for me. I did it kind of beginning of the school year, so I was like, here, I'm out of leggings.
That is
but I literally had people, hey, I need every size legging you got. Extra small to 3X, I need it all. Yes.
So how can we get, listen y'all, that is brilliant, whoever came up with that idea. We need you guys to get more leggings and send them to 1040.
Yes.
Not the Nike leggings either.
Nope.
Regular leggings, send them to 1040. And let's start a donation to get more support into these schools to help some of these young ladies. Not only because of that, but I get that sometimes you want to, if you got it, show it, that kind of thing, but school ain't the place for it.
Thank you.
School is not the place for it. I get some of y'all 18, some of y'all, and you shouldn't be 18 in junior high. But if some of y'all did 7th, 8th grade 3 or 4 times,
they would not do 7th or 8th grade 3 or 4 times. They would get pushed on.
Don't give me, listen. We just had something happen now. Wait.
I'm just saying.
She gonna look, I was trying to end it. But look,
we gotta do part 2.
Listen, we gonna have to do part 2 because I want to discuss the pass the trash method of life. That is something I heard from an educator, which is something that's happening, and I am totally, absolutely, look, poker face. I am totally against the pass the trash method. I get No Child Left Behind and all that, which left a lot of kids behind.
I don't.
Well, it left all the kids behind.
It did.
The name sounded good, but you really just put every kid behind. I mean, way behind.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have, what is it? The statistics is if most 8th graders aren't even reading at 3rd grade levels. So that's, come on. And they, statistically, if they can't read by the 3rd grade, then they have a higher chance to be a criminal or early pregnancy.
Make that make sense, right?
Now make it make sense. But we study just pushing them along. If the kid can't read and write properly, let them stay back and actually learn the material or offer help outside. I wasn't gonna take it here, but I'm just okay. I digress. We gonna do a part 2 later. We'll talk about that because I'm loving her whole energy up here. But tell us, where can we find the book?
Okay, so I'm still in pre-sales. You can go to presale.anishjgrimes.com. I also am on Facebook, Instagram, I have a LinkedIn, all under my name, Anish Grimes or Anish J. Grimes. And I can shoot you a link, message me on Facebook, DM me as we would say, and that is how you can get the book. I am in pre-sales until mid-May, I want to say. So go ahead, get it. You don't want to miss this opportunity. Like, I'm super excited to read it myself because we only saw what we typed.
Oh,
So,
really? So
yes,
that's a mystery all the way
yes, like
around.
I know what the book looks like. My biography is on the back, my pictures, my name is on the front. I know what the book looks like, but I'm super excited to actually have it in my hands.
So look, we gotta get the book.
You do.
We have to get the book. Let's support. Let's go out and support. Let's we got Akron in the house.
Yes.
Let's support it. Let's make a push, I've seen books that get bestsellers that aren't good.
Yes.
I think this book will be great. I think this would be a good chance to try to understand your children, understand the teachers, understand the mindsets that's going on in these classrooms. These are from professionals and people who actually cared enough to take time and do this. What I always tell us about time is the one thing you can't get back, so that means it is priceless. Every salary can be remade. Every day can be remade in that aspect, but you will never get that time back. We will never have 6:44 and 42 seconds again.
Correct.
It has just left and it'll never come back. So time is priceless. Speaking of time, I thank you for yours.
Well, thank you.
I thank you for coming on the Mullit Over podcast. I celebrate you. I'm looking forward to next time. We have to do it next time. She is awesome. She married me my whole life. What I'm
You're
saying
awesome.
about
I'm
that?
proud of you.
So yeah,
Yes.
don't make a black man blush.
Hey.
But
That's not my
listen. And see, she's silly, great personality. Look, definitely gotta have her back on. We're gonna dive deeper because I got questions. I'm gonna be, what's the word? I'm gonna make sure that my questions are great, and I gotta make sure that my questions can be answered without an attack or without a feeling of what is the word I'm looking for? A rebuttal. Let's leave it there. Without rebuttal. Okay. So I want to make sure that all my questions are good and that we are asking questions that the people want to hear. So to do that, I need you to reach out to me at MullitOverPodcast@gmail.com. Again, that is MullitOverPodcast@gmail.com. Questions, comments, concerns. If you're trying to get that book, hit me up. We can pre-sale. Come on now. We all get it at the same time, read and laugh and love it together. We can learn about the story of the 6th grade. Because when we come back on, she gonna be on book 2. She ain't even told me that, but she gonna be on book 2, and this gonna be her book by herself.
Agreed.
She gonna kill it. I'm telling you what I know. We haven't even talked about that. So I'm prophesying it right now. If there will be one. No, I'm just playing. But seriously, check it out. Check out the book. Thanks for tuning in to the Mull Over podcast. As always, today is, we're here. Today is a gift, and tomorrow is not promised. That's why we always have 3 todays. Till next time, that's my time. Peace.
Let's go.